What is up everyone, Movie Worm back again with another end of month vlog. This is just me talking about all the movies and TV shows that I watched in the month of February 2021. I can't believe another month has come to an end, but I do look forward to the end of the month because it's no secret that these are my favourite videos to make. I just like talking about lots of different things in one video, lots of different genres, and giving my mini reviews and, you know, my little thoughts there. I don't spend too long on each title, but I love watching other YouTubers do these as well. They're good to watch and they're great to make, so you can't really go wrong. Hope you all enjoy the video, but let's just get into it with the first thing that I watched this month. So here we go. I was carrying on this franchise and I have finally come to an end, and it is I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say the title for that is amazing. I love that title. I don't know what the next one's going to be called. If they ever make one, I'll continue to know what you did last summer. Who knows? But I was expecting the worst from this movie, I'm not going to lie. This is a straight-to-video film. It never came to the cinemas like the other two. It had a way less budget. But for a straight-to-VOD movie that came in 2003... I don't think it was all bad. There was some things to like here. There was a lot to dislike, mainly directing and editing. But I thought the acting was going to be atrocious as well, but it wasn't. You know, it wasn't all bad. But I will have a full review for this coming because I have reviewed the other two on the channel. So I want to review this and then rank all three of them. So I'll go into more detail about that in my review. It is coming soon for those two people who do care. But I've had fun reviewing this franchise, revisiting this franchise, and this is out the 88 Films box set, which I do own, but I just got it out the case today, so there you go. Next up is a movie I watched on Amazon Prime, and that was Joyride. Now, my friend Terry will be very happy that I watched this. He's been telling me to watch it for the longest time, and I wanted to watch it last month for him, and I didn't, so I made a promise to watch it this month. And this stars Paul Walker. And he said it was just a favourite from his childhood, and I can see why. It's a fun movie. It's basically about these two brothers and this girl who go on a road trip, basically, and this wagon driver who just will not leave them alone. They sort of mess around with them on the mic and pretend that they're a female and, you know, want to meet up with them and stuff, and they sort of trick him, basically, and he doesn't take too well to that and starts chasing them down the highway, making their lives hell. Kind of like the movie The Hitcher, but not as good, but it was still an enjoyable movie. The voice on the radio from this wagon driver was quite creepy at times. It was a good movie. I believe there's a Joyride 2 and 3. I think the other name for that is Roadkill. It might be called Roadkill here in the UK or America. I don't know which way round, but I just know it as Joyride. And Paul Walker was decent in this. The one thing I did not like about this movie was his brother. I can't remember the guy who plays him, but he was annoying as hell. One of the most frustrating characters I've had to watch in a horror movie. But I recommend this. It's on Amazon Prime. Easy 19-minute watch if you're a horror thriller fan. It wasn't bad at all. So thank you, Terry, for that recommendation. I enjoyed the movie, my friend, and I might check 2 and 3 out. I don't know yet, but we'll see. Next up was a new release from 2021 on Netflix, and that was Malcolm and Marie. I enjoyed the first hour of this film. I have reviewed this on the channel. I'll leave my 2021 movie review playlist down below so you can check them out, because there's a few more here as well. And I thought John David Washington and Zendaya were... Zendaya? I always say it wrong. I think it's Zendaya. Were brilliant in this. The acting was fantastic, but after that hour mark, it started to feel very repetitive. It was just them two arguing in a house. Very nicely shot, very well filmed, very well acted, good script for the first hour, and then it just tended to get on my nerves a little bit, but it was a decent movie, something different, and if you like art housey type films, this one might be for you. But I thought Zendaya looked amazing in this. She had such a unique look to her. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Next up, I can't say the same for the next movie, and that is Bliss on Amazon Prime. Yeah, look, I watched some bad movies this month from 2021, which I'll get to in a minute. But this still remains my worst watched movie of the year. I don't really count 2020 films that get released this year. in that list, but I've watched 10 2021 films, and this is the worst one. I have it bottom on my Letterboxd ranking list. It stars Owen Wilson and Salma Hayek, and basically, Owen Wilson meets Salma Hayek, and she tells him that he is in a false reality. He's plugged in, kind of like the Matrix. But I just didn't like the way the movie was shot. It used the same boring locations. It tried to be very clever, and I applauded that, but they just didn't execute it properly. It just didn't fit for me, and I will probably never watch this movie again. I do not recommend it, but if you want to check my full review out, it will be down below. I'll just tell you what I give it now. I give it a 4 out of 10, but I'm looking back now and thinking that I should have given it lower. Because when I think back to this movie, it just was so dull and depressing. I'd probably go back and give it a 3. I did applaud its ambition, but they just didn't pull it off for me. So, yeah. Sorry about that, Bliss, but bad movie. Next up, I have been watching the MCU franchise. Now, I'll leave my MCU playlist down below as well, because me and my fiance are going through the whole franchise right now, and I'm reviewing every single movie, and then I'm going to rank them all at the end. And next up, we watched Thor. I'd already watched the 3 before this last month, but I really enjoyed this one. A lot of people don't like this film. I don't know why. It's a nice, simple, fun watch. There's not too much action in it compared to some of the MCU, but I thought it was quite funny. Thor is a great character. I loved Asgard, the way it looked and everything on screen, the way they put that together. It had to be applauded. The great special effects, simple story, but it worked. So I enjoyed this. It was a good movie. Looking forward to the rest of the MCU. I'm really enjoying it this second time round. I've only ever watched all of them once, so this is my second viewing of them all. And this is up somewhere in the middle of my ranking up to now, so I enjoyed it, not bad. Chris Hemsworth is fantastic as Thor. That was a solid casting choice. I loved Loki in that as well. He was such a good character. Next up, I was doing a collaboration with my friend Moviebug. I think most of you know who he is. He's got like 3,000 subscribers now. He's doing really well on YouTube. And we done a collab on our favourite directors, and he very selfishly picked Wes Anderson. I'm only joking there, James, but he picked that director, and I hadn't seen many of his films, but I thought, you know what, I'll just try and watch what I can before the collab, and this was the only one I watched because it was the only one I had access to. If only Star had come this month from Disney Plus, they've got a bunch of Wes Anderson films on there now, but I did watch the Fantastic Mr. Fox on Amazon Prime, and this was nothing what I thought it was going to be. It was totally different to what I had in mind that I was going to get. It was such a fun movie, so quirky and unique. The way it was filmed, I enjoyed it, but because I expected something different, I want to go back and watch it again, because there is something there, and I think I will appreciate it so much more on a second time watch. But if you want to see me talk more about this movie with James, who goes into it a little bit more, the collab video link will be down below. I had such a fun time. I'd love to do another collab with James. Such a nice guy. But that was the Fantastic Mr. Fox on Amazon Prime. And staying on that collab video, he also picked Taika Waititi, another director whose all filmography I hadn't seen. So I tried to watch as much as I can. He's only made 6 films, and I wanted to see this one more than the ones I hadn't seen, because I heard so many good things, and that was What We Do in the Shadows. Wow, this nearly got my pick of the month. I do a pick of the month every month, the best film that I watched or TV show. And this nearly got it. This was hilarious. This is about a bunch of vampires in New Zealand just living in this house, but it's so funny. Taika Waititi stars in this film, and it was such a fun movie. It really was. I'm so happy James actually picked Taika Waititi now, because I got to watch this. I do want to get it on Blu-ray now. I want it in my collection. And it's just reminding myself that I need to order that. But fantastic movie. Highly recommend it. I heard there's a TV show that's just as good, but I haven't watched that yet. My dad always went on about it as well, saying how good the TV show was. But this film was brilliant. Such a fun time. Comedy, horror. It was so funny. I'm just thinking of some of the quotes in there now. Like, Taika Waititi gets up at one point in the morning or they wake up at 6 o'clock at night actually, and he goes, "This is always very scary for me," and looks out the window and he goes, "Oh, it's dark, it's okay." It's such a good film. I highly recommend What We Do in the Shadows. I watched that on Amazon Prime. Next up is another 2021 movie that came to Netflix, and this was a Swedish film, and I was really looking forward to this because it looked right up my street, and that is Red Dot. This is basically about a couple who go to the mountains, the mountains to see the Northern Lights, and this mysterious sniper targets them. They wake up in the middle of the night and there's this red dot sight on them, and this sniper just toys with them, and it begins a game of cat and mouse really. But there's more to it. The ending was clever, you know, it went down a different route that I didn't expect, and I recommend this. This is a really good film, I thought. I have done a full review down below if you want to check it out in that playlist, but I had a good time with this. It pulls no punches at the end. It doesn't hold back for anyone, and that's what I admired about it. So not amazing or anything like that, but a decent film. So that is Red Dot. Next up is my pick of the month. This is a movie I've seen so many times. It's one of my favourite films ever, and it's very, very short of a 10 out of 10. I'd probably give it a 9.5. I can't quite put my finger on why I don't give it a 10, but it's very, very close, and that is Fargo. I just had this itch to watch this. I had the soundtrack in my head. And it was just playing in the background. It's my favourite score of all time, and it just kept playing and playing. And I had to do a long shift on a Saturday this month with my old job that I was in, and I just had this playing in my head all day. I was doing something very repetitive in the job I had to do, and when I got home I just banged this on and had a beer, and it was great. It was fantastic. I just loved it. What a movie this is. It's so good. I don't recommend it to everyone because I've recommended it to my cousin Michael, my friend Jamie. They didn't like it because of the accent that's on here, but I think it's part of the charm of the movie. I think it's got so many good characters. Steve Buscemi's arc, the way he's scared to shoot the police officer at the start of the film, and then he just goes on this rampage because he's pissed off. Wow, he turns into a madman. Him and Peter Stormare are great in this. William H. Macy, fantastic. Frances McDormand won an Oscar for this, and I never understood why, but on this rewatch I got it. I thought she was brilliant. You know, I always liked all the other characters, but this time, seeing it through older eyes, I got it more than what I used to. Such a good black comedy thriller. It finds the balance perfectly between comedy and serious thriller there. I highly recommend this. If you're not going to be bothered about the accents in here, because they talk like, yeah, good, yeah, that's how they speak. If that's not going to put you off, watch it, because it's fantastic. My pick of the month is Fargo. I will review that fully on the channel one day. Can't wait to do that. Next up is another 2021 film, and this is one of the better films I watched this year, and that is The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. This has Catherine Newton in, and I forgot the other guy's name. Is it Kyle Allen? I think it was Kyle Allen. But these two are in a time loop like in Groundhog Day, and it brings a new dynamic because it's not just one character in this time loop, it's two of them. And Catherine Newton sort of wants to stay in this one, and the other guy, John, Mark his name is in the movie, he wants to get out of this time loop and get back to reality. But Catherine Newton, Margaret, her character is, wants to stay in it because she's having so much fun. She can do what she wants. She's never getting old, and it's good. It's good the way they both see different sides of it. But I've done a full review for this down below as well. I enjoyed it. I thought it was... I think I've got it second on my Letterboxd for best movies this year. So yeah, the one that is number one will be coming up shortly. But if you like that type of thing with the time loops and stuff, and just want a nice chilled movie with a bit of... It's like a bit of a romantic film, I recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's not bad at all. Next up is a movie I have had in my collection for the longest time. If I go onto my to watch list on my phone, all the movies that I've bought that I haven't watched are on there, and this is near the top because I've had it for that long. And I put it off because my mum and dad said it was just okay. They didn't really enjoy it, and I have got to be in the mood for westerns. And that is Jane Got a Gun, starring Natalie Portman and Joel Edgerton. And Ewan McGregor's in this as well. I didn't recognise him at first, to be honest. He's the villain in this. I enjoyed it. I thought this was a good movie. Decent modern western. This woman Jane, whose husband has been shot by these Bishop boys. These are the villains in this movie. Ewan McGregor's gang. They're coming for him where he's injured at his home, and she's got to protect the house. So she hires Joel Edgerton, her older husband, to help her out. But it goes back in time, you know, before all this happened, and flashes back and forth. It wasn't really working for me at first, but then it did start to grow on me, that aspect of it. Decent movie, you know, I enjoyed it. If you like westerns, this might be worth a watch. I'm glad I got round to it now. I thought it was better than what my mum and dad were actually saying. It's not bad. So that is Jane Got a Gun, starring Natalie Portman there. Next up, carrying on my MCU franchise. This will be down below as well if you want to check the full review out. But that is Captain America, the First Avenger. Now, don't shoot me here. The first time round I watched the MCU, I preferred this to the Winter Soldier. But I'm really looking forward to watching the Winter Soldier again now, because everyone says it's the best one. I haven't seen it for a long time, since it came out, really. But this was a solid entry. I loved the World War aspect of it. Tommy Lee Jones, I'm not usually a massive fan of, was hilarious in this. Chris Evans, not my favourite MCU character by any stretch, but he's a solid one. There are reasons that he's different to Thor and Iron Man, which you see in this, because, you know, he's been put down so many times. He doesn't really have the confidence of them two characters, but he's got heart. He's got all the superhero traits, because at one moment in the movie, Tommy Lee Jones throws a dummy grenade and everyone scatters and he jumps on it, so you can see why he's born to be a superhero, basically. But I enjoyed this one. The Red Skull wasn't the best of villains, but it's a decent movie, solid entry. You know, I had fun with it. Sorry, I'm just looking at the list there because I cannot remember all these off by heart. Next up, we do have Crime Scene, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. This was a 4-part documentary series on Netflix, true crime drama, because Netflix are just putting these out now. There's one coming this month called Attack of the Mormons or something like that, Trouble with the Mormons, which looks interesting. But I think Netflix are going to put one out every month here now, because they are so popular. Everyone was talking about this and Night Stalker. This is basically about a woman who goes missing at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, which has a very dark history. There's people who've gone missing there, people have been murdered, you know, and they don't quite know where this woman's gone. And when you see the full videotape of her in the elevator at the end of the first episode, it's really, really creepy. If you watch that first episode fully, you'll want to watch the rest. It wasn't as good as Night Stalker. This could have been done in probably 2 parts, maybe 3, but it's a 4-part and it does drag a little bit, but it's a fascinating story. And if you like true crime, it might be worth a watch. So that is Crime Scene, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel on Netflix. Next up is another movie I've had for a very long time in this collection. I do feel like the first one is a good film, but it's slightly overrated for me. But anyway, I finally got round to this. It is Taken 2. You can see this in the Poundland bin every time you go there now. And don't worry, I didn't watch Taken 3 as well this month. That might be next month. But I thought this was going to be just a big cash grab, and it probably is, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I think Liam Neeson actually gets taken in this at one point, and his daughter has to save him, but then it does get flipped again because his wife goes missing, and he's got to save her. It wasn't bad. You know, I sort of knew what I was going to get, and that's what I got. It's a very tame version of the first one, but not bad overall. I enjoyed it. Sometimes me and my fiancé just like to sit back and not have to think too much about a movie after a long day and work through the week, and we just threw this on. It's half decent, you know. I don't think it was terrible or anything like that. And next up is another second parter. We watched the first one a couple of months ago, and this was the second one, and that is How to Train Your Dragon 2. Following the adventures of Hiccup, who has learned to ride these dragons now, and they would come across these I think the dragon thieves or something, and they're trying to get all the dragons, and I can't quite fully remember, but Hiccup basically has to take on these dragon thieves, basically, and he's more mature now and stuff like that. It ends on a decent note for him. Great animation. I don't think it was as good as the first one, but it was a decent film. I am going to have to grab the third one now. There's a 4K out there of it. I want to grab it to complete the trilogy, and I really want to watch it. These are surprising animated films for me. I didn't think they were going to be that great, but they were. The first one is better though, but this isn't bad. Not a bad movie. Good little story and stuff. Next up is another film that I've had in my collection for a very long time. And when I done my most unwatched Blu-rays video a while ago, everyone in the comments was saying, watch that one next. Finally watched it. The Princess Bride. This was hilarious. I loved this film. The grandpa who tells his grandson the story was so good. But Kerry Ellis, who was in the first Saw film, wow, I couldn't believe this was him. He was just like in his 20s or something here. Such a good movie. I loved the 3 kidnappers in this, especially the little guy. He was just so funny and always shouting at everyone. He's shouting at Andre the Giant, who's like 3 times his size, bossing him about and stuff. There's a moment where they're climbing up this rope and Kerry Ellis, who's this, he's got like a mask over his face and he's just climbing up the rope very casually after them and gaining on them. You sort of, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but it's so funny. Some great fight scenes and stuff. I enjoyed this very much. I would watch this again. Glad to own this in the collection, and it's a movie I've always wanted to get round to, and I finally did. I think I give it 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, but I think on another watch, this might grow on me. Rob Reiner just had this massive, I think he made 4 or 5 movies in a row that were all amazing, and this was one of them, along with Stand By Me and a few others, a few good men and stuff. Really, really good movie. Highly recommend it. Next up is a movie my friend Jack and Matt said was really good if you like anime and manga, and I don't mind it if it's done right. I haven't seen too many, but I've heard this is one of the best ones. And as Ninja Scroll, I wasn't into this at all. Don't get me wrong, the violence and stuff, if you like violence in your anime, it's all here. It's everything. That was probably the best part of it. But I was getting so mixed up in the story. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll get it a little bit more. I think it was just the Japanese names and stuff I was getting mixed up with, because there was so many just thrown in here and there. It goes back and forth and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd have to watch it again, but it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all great either, though. But like I said, some really good moments, like some violent moments in this, if you like violence in your anime. My number 1 manga movie still is Street Fighter 2, the animated film. No, I love that, so that's still my number 1. Next up is going to be my number 1 movie of 2021 up to now. And this could have went either way for me, and it will go either way for you, depending on how you like your horror and what you're going to expect from it. And that is Wrong Turn. Now, I will either have a review up for this on my channel right now, or it'll be coming in the next video. But I thought this was great. I don't think it was overly amazing or anything like that, but it took a direction that I wasn't expecting, and I was all for that. Some people may not like that though, but for me, this is what I wanted from this movie, even if I didn't know it. The first 40 minutes are like any other Wrong Turn film, and then it just goes somewhere else, and I was all up for that. I applauded that. It done something different. The violence was all there. It's got your usual characters in there who aren't great and stuff. But check out the review on the channel. It'll be in the 2021 playlist down below. I enjoyed it. If you like horror and slasher and stuff like that, check it out, because it's not bad. I think it's available on VOD right now, so I recommend it. If you like The Wrong Turn, the original, you're either going to love it or hate it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite clever. The ending, wait for it. I thought it was going to finish on a bad note, and then, like that, just finished on such a positive. But you've just got to be patient. But really, really enjoyed Wrong Turn 2021. Next up, we have a bit of a bad one, and this is another 2021 movie. I am working on a review for this right now. That is Tom and Jerry. I didn't really enjoy this film. Kids might enjoy it, but my biggest example of this was, if anyone says, oh, it's just for kids, you can't take it too seriously. I tried to look through children's eyes, but my example to that is Sonic the Hedgehog was for kids, and I love that film. So this one just wasn't done in the right manner for me. I'll explain more in my review, but I haven't had the full time to process my thoughts. The animation with the live action didn't work either. There's some good things about it, but so many bad ones. However, I do think Bliss was a worse movie. I do have that bottom of my list. But this is up there. And next up, the last movie I watched this month, another 2021 film, and this is going to be in the mix with Tom and Jerry and Bliss. That was Willys Wonderland. I think this might be a movie you'll either love or hate as well. This stars Nick Cage, who has to clean his tyre pops or his car breaks down, and this fella says, look, the ATMs don't work in this town. You're going to have to work for the money overnight. Can you clean up this Willys Wonderland funhouse? And he says, yeah, of course. Well, he doesn't say yeah, because he can't speak. He's a mute all the way through the film. But he nods his head. So he goes and cleans this Willys Wonderland fun fair. And overnight, all these animatronics come to life and attack him, and he has to take them all on. And I thought this might be my type of film, but it wasn't very well made. It's very much a B movie. Nick Cage talking, didn't do anything for the film. I'll explain more in my review. I do have a review for this coming soon. But yeah. 2021, I hope it picks up a movie soon, but I didn't enjoy this one either. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm over this over-the-top B-movie stuff now. I don't know, but maybe if it was better made, I would have enjoyed it. And that is it, guys. That is everything I watched in February 2021. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have you seen any of these films or TV shows? Leave it down below. I did forget to mention at the start that I have been watching WandaVision. I'm only going to slightly touch on that right now. I'm really enjoying it. But I'm going to finish that next month, and I will talk about that next month in this end of month vlog for March 2021, and I'll probably do a full review for it anyway. So WandaVision, check it out if you like the MCU. So if you want to comment about any of these movies or TV shows, leave it down below and I'll reply to every single one of you, I promise. Is there anything you liked that I didn't like? Is there anything you didn't like that I did? Do you agree with Fargo being pick of the month there? I know my cousin Michael and friend Jamie won't. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to check out the reviews down below if you want to and stuff. Take it all easy. I'll see you all next video.